acknowledge and value the impact. National Donate Life Month is a time to educate about organ, eye, and tissue donation and to honor and remember donors and the lives they have saved and healed. Your decision to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor helps give life to 106,000 people on the National Organ Transplant waiting list who are waiting for a second chance at life. Every 10 minutes, a new person is added to the National Transplant waiting list. Becoming an organ and tissue donor is a way to leave a legacy, as well as saving and enhancing the lives of people you don't even know. If you haven't already registered to be an organ, tissue, and eye donor, you can visit the Gift of Hope table as you leave over there, the purple tablecloth, and register. In closing, without the donor, there is no story, no hope, no transplant. But when there is a donor, life springs from death, sorrow turns to hope, and a terrible loss becomes a gift. I'd like to introduce our Chief Nursing Officer, Roxanne Stone.
Our opening prayer. God of all consolation, in your love and mercy, you turn the sadness of death into the dawn of new life. We gather today to honor the gift of life, to remember in a special way those who in their passing from this life extended to others the life-giving gift of hope. It is with grateful hearts that we raise the flag today as a reminder of our sisters and brothers who, through the gift of organ and tissue donation, offer the gift of hope to others in their time of need. We humbly pray that this flag becomes a beacon of hope for all those who, in a time of sorrow, found the strength to offer their final gift that their loved ones gave, and the difference that it made in the lives of others. Lord, refresh in us a true spirit of hope, and renewal in us the compassion and tenderness that you showed as you care for others. We ask of you, our Creator, our Redeemer, and our hope, now.
My name is Alexis Plum, and I'm one of the managers for our donation liaisons in this area for Gift of Hope. And so I'm just going to share a bit about what the significance of a flag raising is. Today we honor and recognize all heroes within our community, all organ, tissue, and eye donors, donor families, donor recipients whose lives have been changed and forever will be touched by donation. We also want to acknowledge and honor the healthcare team as heroes at Lincoln Memorial Hospital, who passionately care for patients and make organ and tissue donations possible, and our community heroes, who as first and last responders, EMS, police and fire services, and the county coroner, whose collaboration and support are vital so that lives can be saved. We could not do this without their amazing collaboration and support. Once a year, we gather to hold this meaningful memorial event during April, National Donate Life Month. Today, at this flag-raising ceremony, we invite you to join us in honoring those who gave selflessly at the end of their lives and celebrate those who have a renewed chance at life through donation. It's my honor to introduce to you all Brian Wilhelm. Brian Wilhelm is the father of Zachary Wilhelm, who passed away at a young age. He's the eldest child of Brian and his wife Carla, was a dedicated chemist at ADM, and a loving older brother. Through organ donation, Zach saved 5 lives. His parents are grateful to have heard from a few of the recipients who are now thriving, and he has also enhanced many more lives through tissue donation, leaving a lasting legacy. So please join me in welcoming Brian.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Gift of Hope Memorial Hospital for allowing me to speak here. It's my first time speaking at this hospital. It's kind of nice, as I was born and raised in Mount Pulaski, so I wanted to come here and keep it kind of local. So myself and my wife Carla, who's here today, are recording our donor family. And my wife is a tissue donor recipient. So the donor I'm speaking about, she said, is my son, Zach. He was also a dog dad to his sidekick, Dixie, who was a chocolate lab that was as ornery as he was. So Zach was born in Springfield, Illinois in 1995. Growing up, Zach was always involved in soccer. Since the time he was 5, all throughout high school, where he was the captain of the high school soccer team, and then played on in college for a while. He loved playing sand volleyball and hanging out with his friends, listening to country music, and visiting the beach, especially when mom and dad invited him along, and he didn't have to pay anything. So Zach and Courtney were inseparable when they were younger kids. Everything that Zach would do, Courtney would do too, or try to do. He did torment her as they got older, but he was always there to protect her, watch out for her. Zach had the most infectious smile, captivating laugh when he started to laugh really loud. He'd throw his head back and just had that belly laugh that you knew it was him. His sense of humor and quick wit drew people to him. He was always playful and teasing with an emphasis on teasing. We'll miss his phone calls announcing random updates. This is one Christmas he called us and said, "Mom and Dad, you're never going to believe this. I got a Sam's Club membership for $8. Zach had many accomplishments over the years. However, the most impressed was Zach's diligence of pursuing his passion in chemistry and becoming a fermentation chemist at ADM in Decatur, where he excelled. Zach always had a willingness to give and help others, and therefore his decision to become an organ tissue donor came as no surprise to us. Some of these acts of helping others we did not learn until after his passing at the services that we had for him. They were shared with us by his many co-workers from ADM and from his college soccer team. In the early morning, June 30th, 2022, we received that phone call from the American Voice again. Zach had been involved in a severe accident that was in critical condition at St. John's Hospital in Springfield. When we arrived at the hospital, Zach had come out of a 4+ hour surgery and was on a ventilator. I remember thinking, this can't be happening. Trying to make bargains and promise God different things to make this all go away. Please don't let Zach die. Take me instead. I'm good with that. We will never forget the moment that the doctor told us that he was brain dead. It was the greatest feeling of loss I'd ever felt. Gut punch that just took my breath away, along with my wife. Zach was 27 years old. A hospital staff approached us about Zach being an organ donor. However, there was no question that we would donate, because Zach and I had spoken about this a few times, and he was adamant about being a donor. Matter of fact, he signed up when he's got his driver's license. Gift of Hope has been with us every step of the way, and has continued to stay in contact and support our family. That is why I decided to become an ambassador for Gift of Hope. As Zach's parents, we were so proud that Zach was able to give the gift of bone, soft tissue, and skin. To date, these donations have gone to recipients in 6 states and in South Korea. We are also grateful Zach was able to save 5 lives with his organ donation. These recipients ranged in age from the early teens to the late 60s in 4 different states. We've been in contact with 3 of these organ recipients. The first is Robert. Robert was in his early 60s, and in November of 2020 he was diagnosed with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which my understanding causes scarring in the tissue, slowly debilitating, and is fatal within 3 to 5 years. His life consists of going to and from the couch, to bed, to the kitchen, and back to the couch. It was on oxygen 24/7. On July 1st, 2022, after Zach was pronounced brain dead, Robert received his lungs on July 3rd, 2022. The surgery was a success, and as of today, Robert's doing well and walking a few miles every week. Next gentleman, Ryan, is 45, from Missouri, had a wife and 2 young kids. Due to medical complications, Ryan was in need of a kidney. Once again, he was only able to walk short distances. This ailment caused him to lose his job and not attend his events. Brian is now living a full life and attending all family events and is back to work. Lastly, Brendan. Brendan's mom is raising him and an older and younger sister. When Brandon was 12, he was diagnosed with a heart condition that he was not going to be able to recover from. So at age 13, Brandon received Zach's heart, and he was now 16 and doing well. And at the end of next month, we have plans to travel and meet him and his family and listen to Zach's heart. Knowing the number of lives that Zach's donations has helped has given our family the ability to find tragedy, or good in this tragedy. I ask each of you to take a moment to think about that loved one or friend that you're standing next to today. If that person needed organ donation to survive, wouldn't you want them to have that chance? Of course you would. Each of you have the power to save a life through organ and tissue donation. If you've thought about being an organ donor or you've already decided to donate, please take the time to talk to your family, discuss these wishes with them. Because you don't want to have this talk in the hospital when tragedy strikes. Talk to your friends about donations. These conversations are difficult. If they decide to donate, it can have a positive aspect to an otherwise tragic situation. Knowing that your loved one's donation gave someone a second chance of life, prevented another family knowing the pain of losing a loved one. So in closing, I'd like to read a poem that I always read at the end of this. When tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not there to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes filled with tears for me, I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we didn't get to say. I know how much you love me, as much as I love you. And each time you think of me, I know you'll miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand and said my place was ready in heaven far away, and I'd have to leave behind all those I dearly love. And this is how I choose to honor my son Zach and keep his memory alive. I hope that Zach's story will inspire you to register to become a donor and speak to others about this important topic. This is Zach's story. Thank you.
So much, Brian, for sharing your exact story. To all of us to be able to hear that. We'll introduce Courtney Welch from Saving Sight.
It's really hard to follow up. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, Saving Sight is incredibly honored to be able to serve Lincoln Memorial, or as Lincoln Memorial's Eye Bank. Every year as we plan and attend these events, I'm reminded how caring and compassionate people are within this hospital and that she was able to give hope and help in our family, brings comfort and joy to those of us she left behind. Our thoughts and prayers will be with you and yours, as she is always in our hearts. So I like to share that because it's just one person that chose to donate their corneas, but you can see it made a really big impact for such a big family and countless lives down the country.
So a Gift of Hope flag raising ceremony is a simple yet powerful way for families, hospital partners, Gift of Hope staff, and community partners to honor those selfless donors in spirit and their families, and reflect on the hope offered during tragedy and loss. Although raising the flag may only take a few moments, it represents a legacy for those who gave the ultimate gift and a chance at life for those who received or continue to wait for a life-saving or life-enhancing organ, eye, or tissue transplant. The flag is a beacon of hope for families that in the time of their deepest heartbreak, they had the strength and courage, generosity, and kindness to choose life by donating organs, eyes, and tissue for the benefit of complete strangers. It's a reminder that despair does not win. Every time the flag is raised, may we know that love lives on in this world, not only in the hearts and minds of those that grieve for a life taken too soon, but in the quiet and reflective gratitude of those touched by the generous gifts of life. It's our greatest hope that these gifts will make the lives of others a blessing each day. And at this time, I'd like to invite everyone touched by donation, donor families and recipients, to come forward and take part in a flag raising ceremony, and I'm going to turn it back over to Roxanne.